for another night that I get to spend together, Story Night family. Thank you, Tyler, for what you provide for us, and Claire for what you do. This is a special place. So much to be thankful for. Life is such a gift, and I have so many gifts. Today was day 2 of the 14th round of chemo for me. And so, for those who don't know, I have blood cancer, was diagnosed last year. And the numbers were really, really critical. So I dropped the critical numbers, and they've been there for a while and keep dropping and dropping. So we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do chemo this round because they weren't sure if I could handle it. So, but we're doing it, so that's a good thing, and I'm very grateful for it. I'm grateful for the Billings Clinic and the nurses, and just there's so much to be thankful for. And thankful I don't have the need now to do a blood transfusion, which I'm thankful for those too. Those are cool. But thankful I don't have to do a cardio echogram, which is it's not really an intrusive thing. But my wife was talking to me the other day about it, and I don't know if I was listening completely, because I thought she was talking about me needing one. And so when you've had like 93 transfusions, or infusions, a transfusion, 3 biopsies, and all like hundreds of blood draws, and all of these things, every time you hear a procedure, I just think it's for me. But it wasn't. I wasn't 100% listening. So, but it was actually for my mother-in-law, and I didn't know what it was. Echocardiogram. So I looked it up, figured I should know what it is, and it's just a way they look at the heart, and they call it I think when Cassidy mentioned, I think she called it an heart echo. I'm like, that's cool, what's that? And so I looked it up, and while I was kind of looking at what it was, I kind of rabbit trailed into different parts of the heart and things, and kind of did a little research into that. And there was 3 things that really stuck with me, and the 3 words: heart, and chamber, and echo. And so I looked up heart, and we know that's the organ that pumps the blood, right? So, but it's also on the center of something. It's the utmost. How did the dictionary say it can be the center of something, and like the innermost important part of something, like the center of the city, or the heart of the city, the heart of the matter. I thought that was cool. I love how words can mean multiple things. And then as I was looking at the heart, it has 4 chambers, and so I got interested in that and what the chambers do. And then the word chamber kind of rang out to me, and so I looked that up. And chamber has many meanings as well. But one meaning is, a chamber is a formal gathering place, like this, a place where people gather, and chamber music came from that. An orchestra comes into a big room, a chamber room, and they all, bring their instruments and collaborate and make symphony. And so I thought that was really cool. But also, chamber means like a intimate place. Like a bedroom, like your bedroom chamber. Like if you're a king, you have a castle, you have your private chamber, and it's meant to be something that's intimate and private chamber. I thought that's interesting how they're 2 things. And then the third word, echo, I just think, is there an echo in here? When the sound reverberates and bounces and moves, but when you look at it's also, when you look at the synonyms of it, it has other meanings that are close, like a replica or a duplicate, or like a clone, or a twin, or a reproduction of. And that was really cool. And I don't need the heart echo, the echocardiogram. And when I asked about it, I was saying, you don't need one, your heart is strong. I was like, yes. And it is strong. And I think one of the reasons it's so strong is because of all the joy I have in my heart, and how much gratitude I have for the gift of life and the gift of family and those things. And so when I thought about those words, I thought about my family is the innermost center, the most important thing to me. And just like the heart has 4 chambers, my heart has 4 chambers, and one is Cassidy, one is Gideon, one is Tristan, and one is Josiah. And Cassidy's my wife, and I could spend 10 years of story nights just telling you stories about how wonderful she is, and we didn't even scratch the surface. And I just am deeply, deeply in love with her. And 4 chambers. And the thing is, my wife, she's given me so many wonderful gifts in my life, but she's given me the gifts of what I would call my heart echoes. 3 of those. And the first is Gideon. Gideon Lee Edward Corcoran. And he was born April 25th, 2010 in Los Angeles. And his name Gideon, when my wife, we hadn't discussed names, and he was our first child, and hadn't even thought of it. And she said, "What do you think of the name Gideon?" And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy. That name had been in my head, and I thought it was for something else." I said, "I love that name." And as soon as she said, I said, "Gideon Lee. Gideon Lee Edward Corcoran." We named him in like 10 seconds. And the Lee jumped, well, Gideon is from Judges 6, and he was a judge and a warrior, and in the Old Testament. And then Lee was from my uncle Lee. And he lived in South Dakota, and he was a hunter, and he had a processing plant that he started on his property and then grew just massive, and self-made man, just a wonderful guy. And when my life was really bad and I was struggling with alcohol and drugs, and I ended up there one winter and was there at the processing plant and worked for him and lived with him, and I was just a broken young man, and had a lot of trauma from men that I looked to, my dad, my stepdad, and others, and so I was working in there, and I did something like I didn't clean something when I was working with some chicken, and he kind of barked at me like, "Hey, wipe that off," or whatever, And it was all, what he said was, he was the boss, and there was nothing unreasonable about it, but it hit me in a place that wounded me just because of my past. I mean, there's nothing he said was wrong, but he noticed it. And then he came over and put his arm around me, and he loved on me. And I never had a man do that, and so I always remember that. He had died right before Gideon was born, and so his name just popped in my head, Gideon Lee. Such a kind man. So Gideon Lee Edward Corcoran, Edward after my dad, and so we named him. And Gideon was born at 35 weeks, and should have went to the NICU, but we didn't know about that, and he went home and we called him our Benjamin Button baby. He was so skinny, and he gained like 6 ounces in like the first couple months, and he had a failure to thrive at that time, but he's thriving now. He's just such a beautiful young man. I took him and my daughter Tristan, my second heart echo that my wife gave me, and took them to Yellowstone Park. We went to Big Sky over Labor Day, and we stayed with some friends at a condo, and other families were there with kids. Gideon's 9, and there was kids 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and all the way up, just running around being crazy. And there's older kids, and he took the time to play with the younger ones, the littles. And a couple of mothers came up to me and said they noticed, and he's so good with the littles. And as a parent, you have, I think a lot of people would fear the fact that your kid would be bullied. But I always thought what a worse fear would be is if your kid was the bully. And my boy is just so kind. My wife posted a picture of him the other day where he has his glasses off, and he's 9, and you could see him as 13 or 17. They get to that age where you're like, oh, that's what he's going to look like, and And it said he's the oldest, so much as expected of him. He's the quietest, so much is missed with him, and he's the most tender, so nothing is lost with him. And last night he asked me to come up after prayers, wanted to snuggle with me, and he hasn't done that as much lately, now that he's 9, and so I got up, and they all have our former phones, and we put all my bunny stories that I tell my kids, like 100 and some on there that they can listen to when they go to bed, which is really cool when I walk in the room and all my kids have their own little phone and they're listening to stories. It just makes my heart so full. I have so much joy. So we got up, and he also had like 500 pictures on there. So those are the 2 things he's able to have. He can't call or text or anything. Those 2 things. But he was flipping through and looking at pictures. We had pictures of him when he was born, and so we're just this walking down memory lane. You know, and it's interesting when you go to the doctor and you have a diagnosis and you can't help but think of that transitional ride as a possibility, especially when your numbers plummet. And so there's this walk through life, you know, with him, and he's like, "There's my Go Monkey." He had this little monkey that he would take everywhere, so it was named Go Monkey. And like Monkey 1, Monkey 2, and Go Monkey that would travel with him. And so it was just really sweet to spend those moments with him, you know. And so I went to get down, and of course, they have bunks, and my daughter's like, you know, me, you know, you snuggle with me, it's not fair. She's all about fairness, you know, and so, in time, always daddy-daughter dates, everything's time with her, and so she's the second heart echo that my wife gave to me, and her name is Tristan Don Corcoran. She was born September 21st, 2011, and she came at 33 and a half weeks, and fast when she came, and her name Tristan, it comes, it's derived from the Welsh, and it means the loud one, and she's loud, but it's also a warrior name like her brother's, because it means the clanging of swords before battle. She's a fighter, because when she was in the NICU, they said 30 days, and she got out in 10. And, but you know, those moments you think you might not ever take her home, and all you want her is to thrive and to live. And so she sprouted. She's been as tall as her brother since they were this big. Her middle name, Dawn, the rising sun, after me, spelled D-A-W-N, and Riley after Cassie's maiden name. Kristen, Dawn, Riley Corcoran, and she always wants more time, so like I start to fall asleep and I have to go, you know. And so I start to go, she, no, more time, stay a little longer, more time, Daddy, more time. So I'm okay, and then it's like, I gotta go, no more time. It's always time, that's her love language, she wants time. And she's beautiful, like her mama. She's an artist. She loves to draw. They just did a movie together, and she's bold and courageous. And she got like work ethic at 7. She's been working jobs since she was 6. Because our kids earn their own money and they can spend half of it, and so when she wants something, she finds side hustles and jobs. Yeah, and then Josiah is the third heart echo that my wife gifted me with, and Josiah David Edward Corcoran. He was born. Chemo brain has hit me. 2014. It was December 5th, 2014. And he tried to come at 27 weeks, tried to come at 29, tried to come at 30, and we did everything to keep him in. And then, you know, he ended up coming at 39 weeks, which, you know, we had 2 preemie babies, and now we had our first chunky baby. And he just brought such joy to our home. And there was a lot of that pregnancy, the first 2, you know, one Gideon came at 35 and then 33 and a half, and only then did we realize that Cassidy gives we call spontaneous birth, and it just happens really like that. And so the fear was that he would come earlier, and then the fear that he may lose him. And so I think there was a lot of tension for, during that time, and it just brought such joy. So his name was Josiah from 2 Kings. He was a mighty king that walked in the way of David. So Josiah David, and his papa's name is David. So Josiah David, Edward Corcoran, and his best friend is Grayson. They fight like brothers, and he likes to go to the park. He always says, "Can we go to the park?" He has the cutest little voice, and so we do that. And he also, one of his favorite things is to pray last. We'll all get together and pray at the end of the night, and I'll pray, and he'll say Gideon, and he'll pray, and then we'll go to Tristan, and then go to Mom, and she prays. She'll say, "Thank you. I've noticed this recently." She'll pray, and she'll say, "Thank you for another day we get to spend together as a family." And simple thing. Life is such a gift, and every day is a gift, and so he wants to follow after, and he can't wait, and because he can end the prayers, and he always says, "And all the Corcoran say?" And so Corcoran is her name, but he said the Corcorans. All the Corcorans say, and does anyone know sign language? So what this means in sign language is amen, which comes from Hebrew, and it means agreement. Like, I agree with you, that's right. So it's go ahead, put your thumb up like this, and I'm going to teach you sign language. There you go. Now you know something. So that's an agreement.
This is also help.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, when it goes like this?
Just help me help you.
Ah. Now you have two. Yes. So, my kids, to me, I think the reason why, through all of the dancing, the tightrope that we've been doing, I feel like one of the reasons why I've been able to be so healthy is because my heart is so full of gratitude and joy. Because of my wife, because of the things that she's gifted me with my children. My heart echoes. And it's just a beautiful thing. It just really is. Life's a beautiful thing. And so I have so much gratitude, and I'm so thankful for this space. Because to me, the Montana Gallery, it's the heartbeat. It's the heart of downtown to me. It's the center of the most important place. And this place, this space, where we formally gather, this chamber, is a special place because it's a place we can gather formally, but it also is intimate. It's rare to get those two things together. And the echo of the stories, they reverberate through this chamber, and you are all a part of that. And so this is a special place because your stories echo through here, and they echo up here, and echo in here, and I take them with me, and out when we go. This is it's a very special place. My whole journey, diagnosis, and it started here. And so this is a special place for me. So I, to quote my wife, as I do this, I'm just so thankful for another night to spend with my story night family. And do you guys feel that way about this place? Yeah. Okay, well then if you don't mind, can you give it a thumbs up on that? Now we'll hold for a second and I'll say it again. But I am so thankful for another night that I get to spend in the story night family. So my best Josiah, and all the family say, Amen. Amen.